If you've ever been in a conversation with someone you care about, a partner, someone you're dating, someone you're building something meaningful with, and you suddenly feel that familiar tightening in your chest, that moment where your truth retreats and you find yourself nodding, soothing, accommodating, this isn't age, this isn't habit. This isn't you being too emotional or too sensitive. This is self-abandonment in real time. And it's one of the most painful ways women disconnect from themselves, especially when you've lived enough life to know what it costs to lose yourself in love. Hey there, I'm Lynn Carpenter with Blissful Heart Coaching. I help successful women stop abandoning themselves in their relationships so they can experience the deep, steady, nourishing kind of connection their hearts have been craving. This is week 4 of our self-abandonment series, and today we're talking about something incredibly important: how to stop abandoning yourself in the exact moments you usually disappear, so you don't repeat the patterns that broke you in the past. Whether you're remarried, newly partnered, divorced and dating again, or in a long-term relationship that's evolving, the fear is the same. I don't want to lose myself again. But here's the tricky part. Self-abandonment doesn't happen in big dramatic moments. It happens in tiny ones. Imagine you're sitting with someone you love, someone you've opened your heart to, and they say something like, "You feel distant lately," or "I can't tell what you're feeling." And instantly inside you, there's a truth. I'm overwhelmed. I'm scared to be misunderstood. I'm carrying a lot and I don't know how to say it. But instead of speaking that truth, your mouth says, "I'm fine. It's nothing, really." That split second between truth and performance is where self-abandonment lives. You've lived enough relational life to recognize the pattern. You swallow your truth to keep the peace. You shrink to avoid conflict. You step aside so the relationship doesn't wobble. Not because you're weak, but because for years, maybe even decades, your nervous system learned that maintaining harmony was safer than expressing your needs. And for me, one of the most painful places this showed up was inside my marriage. For years, when Brian wanted intimacy and I didn't, I said yes with my body while everything inside me was saying no. Not because I didn't love him, not because I didn't want closeness, but because I was exhausted, completely spent from pouring into everyone and everything all day, and I needed emotional connection first. Instead of saying, "Not tonight, my love," or "I need to feel close to you emotionally before I can be close physically," I overrode myself. I told myself I was being a good wife, but I was really abandoning myself to avoid the discomfort of his disappointment. Women don't just abandon themselves in conflict. We abandon ourselves in intimacy, in the moments where authenticity matters most. Because somewhere along the way, our nervous system learned it's easier to betray myself than risk disappointing someone I care about. By the time your mind forms a sentence, your body has already made a decision. Your throat closes, your breath shallows, your shoulders brace, your body whispers, "Don't say it, don't rock the boat, don't risk losing what you finally have." This isn't immaturity or insecurity, it's survival coding. Yes, it's rooted in childhood, but it's also shaped by years of caregiving, emotional labor, raising children, managing households, and surviving heartbreak. This is layered conditioning built from all the seasons where you had to keep the peace to hold it all together or take care of everyone but yourself. So today, when your partner's tone shifts or a disagreement arises, your body isn't reacting to your partner. It's reacting to every moment in your life when emotional honesty didn't feel safe. Your nervous system is trying to protect you from pain you've already lived through. When I talk about bridling, I'm drawing from the world of horses. In thoughtful horsemanship, a horse learns to respond to gentle pressure while ideally staying connected to its spirit. But many of us, as humans, internalize that pressure so deeply that we began to bridle ourselves, suppressing our true thoughts, emotions, and desires to stay safe, accepted, and loved by the people we depended on. And what's especially true in adulthood is that we carry those bridles from childhood, through our relationships, through our losses, through the years we carried everyone else, and into the relationships we're in now. The unbridling process is about gently loosening those old reins, healing the survival strategies that once protected you, and reconnecting with the woman you are underneath all that conditioning. A woman I worked with recently was divorced and in a new healthy relationship, the first kind, gentle man she partnered with in decades. But anytime they had a vulnerable conversation, she froze. One evening he said, "What's going on? You feel far away." And she did what so many of us do. She smiled and said, "No, I'm good, really." Later, she told me I could feel myself abandoning myself even as the words were coming out. That's the ache so many women know intimately. You're aware of the pattern. You don't want to repeat it, but in the moment, your body pulls the reins away. This is where the practice comes in. Recognize, regulate, return. Recognize the moment you start to leave yourself. Maybe it's heaviness in your chest, pulling back emotionally, going quiet, or becoming pleasant instead of honest. Then regulate, not to be perfectly calm, but safe enough to stay present. Take a deep inhale and then a longer exhale. Place a hand on your heart. Feel your feet on the floor and relax your jaw. Tiny signals to your nervous system that say, "I'm here, you're not alone." Then return. Return to yourself with one small truth. "I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need a moment to find my words. This is tender for me." Every time you return to yourself, you unlearn the belief that love requires your disappearance. And here's something I do now that has changed everything for me. If I realize later that I abandoned myself, that I stayed quiet or agreeable, or said yes when my body was a big no, I go back to the person and I tell the truth. I literally say, "I abandoned myself in that moment, and here's what was actually true for me." Doing that is one of the ways I retrain my nervous system to understand that it's safe to speak my truth. It's safe to honor my needs, and safe to stay with myself even after the moment has passed. Women tell me all the time, "I've been doing this way too long. It won't change. This is just who I am." No, this is who you became when you didn't feel safe to be yourself. Your authentic self did not vanish. She's been waiting beneath years of strength and caretaking, and she's ready to lead now. If you want support reconnecting with the part of you who learned to leave herself to keep the peace, my free inner child meditation is a beautiful next step. It will gently guide you back to the girl you forgot, the one who learned to be strong when she's the one who really needed support. You'll find the link in the description of this video below. And if this message spoke to you, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. And tell me in the comments, what's one tiny way you're choosing not to abandon yourself this week? Remember, your authentic self isn't gone. She's waiting for you to return. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.